2,154. No, I'm not. The amount is no. 2,150 is a year. The UN Women reports that it will take about 130 years for us to achieve gender equality. When it comes to positions of power, higher positions of power, that is what the UN Women report says. 2,154. After 130 years, where would you and I be? 130 years. This is not because we don't have competent women. Come on, look around you. Our very able women look of competence. Why do we have to wait until 130 years before we can achieve gender equality when it comes to attaining the higher positions of power? Of Professor Ajiman. That seat, that high seat, woman must sit up of it. Yes. Whether they like it or not. Whether they like it or not. Come January 7th, we will have a female vice president. Inshallah. Now, like I said, let's speak policy. The NDC has always been a party of brilliance. There's no doubt about it. Today, you hear a lot of professors speak of brilliance. That is why we speak policies. Now, the problem of the 130 years, there are two schools of thought. One school of thought says that we should allow women advocate for themselves. They don't need to be supported. And Prince in Canada, and he told the world that the women of Ghana are not dynamic enough to hold power. The women of Ghana, you and I, are not dynamic enough to hold power, which includes his wife and his children. We are not dynamic to hold power. Then what sort of a president do we have? Do we have a president that supports women achieving the higher position in power? And if you have the opportunity to vote for a man who is hand-holding a woman, a competent woman as that, don't you admire Professor Jenana Opoku-Agyeman? Please, don't you admire her? If you have a man who is hand-holding a competent woman and taking her to the Flagstaff House, which of these people would you give your support to? Come December 7th, it is a choice for women or people who support women, a party who supports women, a president who supports women, and a party you already know. You already know what Arthur Kennedy told us when the choice for President Kufuor to pick Hajia Halima Mahama came up. We already know. But when our president, incoming, chose Professor Jenana Opoku-Agyeman, not once, twice, presented her to the party, we said yes, it is time for the women. It is time for the woman. The time is not tomorrow. It is now. Women, the time is not a decade after today. It is not after 130 years. A woman must be at the table because a woman knows a woman. She will speak for us at the table. Not only is President Mahama promising us a woman vice president. Minyanom, President Mahama is telling us that when he becomes president, come January 7th, amongst his appointments, 30% will be women. A minimum of 30%. Let me just explain this. Maybe we didn't get it. 100 women. If we have 100 women, 30 of them minimum will be appointed from the women. Is this not exciting news enough? So when we get to the ballot come December 7th, and we are given the opportunity, President Mahama, my mothers, my sisters, my aunties have brought me here to tell you that because of your commitment to women, come December 7th, we would also show our appreciation. Come January 7th, January 8th, when you give your speech, you will not forget that women like my mothers, my aunties, myself, the young ladies stood up and fought and said, our time is now. We are with you. December 7th, we will show you why we are with you. Thank you.
Yera John Dramani Mahama, Your Excellency. Bema Osi Adieyo, Yedawasi Bebre. Oba Kukudrufo, Obinfo, Nana Opoku Ajiman, Yedawasi Bebre. Thank you very much, Dr. Hannah Bisu, for putting all of us together with your able deputies and all the women organizers. Yadamunyina Asi, Yamishra Mubebre. For all the phenomenal women, and ma kukudufu amunyina mwaba, yeshemu waha, jumedie, yeba bedi, esipimu, yadamunyina Asi. NDC ma yeba ha yeba neboko. Yasem ni seng. Yasem ni se ema Ghana ma yenyina yehuhia His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Na owon sempabi ema Ghana ma. Enunti na yenyina yejina ha. Yefre bibi se multi-dimensional poverty reports Ghana Statistical Reports. Ghana Statistical Service. Omode eba Ghana. Nchwechwemu echre se Ghana fo no yenyina yasitine mu teseng na no omode nchwechwemu ibaye no omosi se ufa Ghana ebusua bia edua 4 eye 9 yewo ohia bubrom yentumi ntwaduane yeho chiriyen ena ukojom se ukwa akoto aduane a uton tomatoes 200 ochina obeko no na ye 250 ensem nyina eha yera John Dramani Mahama because se ohia bubro bechi Ghana ma de na che so ohia bubro ati nyina afi se Ghana ma ye ne ye hye ebusua so enti osedien Osisi ohia bubro to Ghana ma na nkwala nswe na mpanyimfo omu ni adwuma nswe. What do you think is their situation? Enunti ena sometimes unso bi wo ho awanyi oni adwuma yenti no na ye ebo ne beyie ya na nanu man kesisi ye no omu tena fie a omu ma ye nyansa. Me sister kan say ye wo fie na sasemba ye se yekobisa abrewa enso ohienti emrewa bebre wo ho a ye ka so mo ye bayifo na ntesa enu hunti no ayakayaka di a ye de ye mrewa a ye from ebi mu bo mo abayi no Yera Dramani Mahama say obetwa so no obetwa so obeye ne sen ni obeye ne say which comes in Krobi or Honoma Obehu say, Yabubo Edain Kakra, near the Yen and Nanomako, yes, Yomuya Bay for, or Sisania Manina Subecha. A Subechana say, ye be si baby, a be buayan and nanom, no messia in San Nujuma, nea shom, some will run near Momo, and no mundo, yashom, some beba cambo media grow, ama o mat sitnemu, I asked pa. And on a brofumuno, yakaya say, we will transform alleged witch camps into viable community wellness centers. Enti mitremu obrofo mo amunti chi no na mwate. Osanso say inyanka ene omo ni bia enkwala obehu se no mu nam street so se kwan so besi omo sa kwala nkeso so ko school no na onko school onenam kwan ho stress ade onya atare nhye sankwala ni nyina so no ye behye akwanya ebeboa wo na omo betimi akọ school omo nso omo hie aduane enya aduane eno no ya hro ne brofo mu say we will establish orphan and vulnerable child support schemes as a special vehicle to create a safe environment for children who are on the streets, children who have been trafficked, and internally displaced children. Bebesa medi asemba ko esoka ho. Eya na efie bi wo ho a oba nko a ne hwe akwala na ebi wo ho so a mema nko a ba bebre na abon so oba ba ko e ne hwe. Ebi wo ho so so ana bema no onfa emoa emba e ma ye mfa hwe akwala no. Eno ni se sakwala ne hwe eda oba ko so a eye din. Enti no brofo mu no ya hwere se a eye VOW ye magana for Emma especially. And it said, we will establish child maintenance service bureau which will support children who are living apart from their parents and make sure that the parent who is not living with the child is able to contribute significantly for the child's care. Epamucho akama asembako no ehia ejadifo ehia yen ayepam niema ntare ehia yen ayeko ejom kodija ehia ye friend saying omko efuom ehia yen nyina efise obehu se ye nsa no nyuma no ebi wo hanu ma ye be ye nsa no adwuma ne sa na ye nyin enso na ye ni sika ye de hwe ye ho obi wo no ya aben adwuma obehu se na wawie waye 60 wareta Yedamwaso. Enti yasemba kwa ya waka no muma miwie yedamwasi bebre. We are Jedini, and I say, we are Ukraine, Opamataria, we are Obia, your friend, say, or informal sector. We who say, Obi or Honoma, where we are, or ya by a Jumentino, Onya 60 years, Nasa Opon Juma, your man of pension, and so ya and son with Jumano, ye pension. And no na yera John Dramani Mahama say, Obia oye ejuma, say we unsa no ejuma nan saying e mebuo ni ye bibia your friend content creators and our influencers. Ye nyina ye wi ye nya ye pension. Na say we unsa no ejuma, esese ye nyina ye ka say money wo yo, say wa ye ejuma pa, eno hunti na ye de money yo aba. A special pension scheme. Emma yenina ye nsano juma. 7 December. Midin crab bremo. Say yenina ye beji atunu se. Ana ma ye ma memo. Omu wi o mejuma wie. No munya 60 years a. Omu timiji omo pension. Say ye be ya yensu mebu ye mbre hwehwɛ ye maame musu bebre but eno ne say omo de omo pension kakra ne yeso ye de sika ba ene e wo kwoto aba say unim baby a wo kwoto no wo kwoto aba wo hwehwɛ umbrella no na wo de wonsa esi ho nyame nhira mu nyina ma kukudufo omo wo KUMASI ASHANTI mani na nyame nhira mu
na wo hwɛ mmabawa ene ya maame no mo weni monyam nanam ejuma eni ho eni ohienti aka omo ahye John Dramani Mahama eni ya maame Jane say omo ba be ma ye ejuma omo ba ema yesa akoya no ama efie ajo it come 2024 December 7th yanto abano ama omo na ma ema yenye biedi.
Professor Jainana Opoku-Agyemang. In August 2015, at the Forum of Heads of Girls Senior High School, I was opportune to present a bouquet to you to officially welcome you to that event. I could recall with my trembling hands, I held this bouquet to give to you. I was so scared. And you asked me a question. You asked me what I wanted to become. I had dreams, yes, but I was unsure. My vision was unclear. I froze. You smiled. You looked at me and you told me that I could become whoever I wanted to be and that I could become a value for myself and to Mother Ghana. I have the privilege and the honor to stand here today, Professor. I am not where I want to be, but with your inspiration, I believe I am getting there. Just as you inspired me 2015, almost 10 years ago, I am standing here because of your inspiration. Anytime I feel unsure about myself, I remember the encouragement you give me, the inspiration, and I know there are thousands of young ladies who are going to be inspired by you.
Fellow women of Ghana, friends of the media, all protocols observed. I am very happy to be part of today's event because it is another milestone towards our journey of resetting Ghana, the resetting agenda of Ghana, and I am happy to be part of the Voice of Women agenda or initiative. The Voice of Women, the VOW, is the vow of the NDC to the good women of Ghana. It is our vow to the women of Ghana. Today, as we gather in this room, what the NDC is saying is that we have not come with a mere promise, but we have come with a plan of action, a concrete but fluid plan of action. Because we understand the struggles of the Ghanaian women, we understand the needs, the expectations, the anticipations, and the aspirations of the good women of Ghana. And so we have come to say, we have a package for you. But that package is a testament, because it is said that when somebody promises you something, ask his name. For us, our name is Yayebida. And as we heard from Nana Pokua, we have done it and we will do it again. Ladies and gentlemen, when I graduated from university in 1997, I was a young woman with a lot of hope and anticipation. I had written several letters and I was waiting for responses. But as I waited, as a girl, I knew that I couldn't be idle in waiting. So I wanted to start something as a typical woman. But the challenge was capital, money. Where was the money going to come from? Some people decided to introduce me to the local women who loan money, the lenders, for people who wanted to start their business. And when I got there, I was pleasantly surprised. There was the woman with the money by her side, a bottle of beer and a glass half filled with beer by her side. And she said to me, "Naula, what is your name?" I told her. "Who are your parents?" I told her. "Do you know the conditions for getting money from us?" I said no. She said, "Listen, number one, when we give you the money, every month you would pay us 10%. So at the time, I wanted 10,000 Ghana cedis. If they gave it to me, I would pay 1,000 cedis every month to them. Number two, when they give you the money, it means that it will be discounted by 10%. So if you asked for 10,000, they'll bring 10,000 and in your presence, 10,000 off and give you 9,000, but you owe them 10,000. I listened to the conditions and I said to myself, this is not possible. I had to do something. But eventually, I got a group of women, NDC women, elderly women, coming to me to say that there was an initiative called the Business Assistance Fund Initiative at the time. It was the Business Assistance Fund that bailed me out as a young lady to start my business. We all know that when you have a brilliant idea, but you do not have money, that idea cannot go far. And therefore, the NDC has prepared for the women of Ghana, the Women's Development Bank. This Women's Development Bank is more powerful than the Business Assistance Fund. It is a bank that will be dedicated to women's businesses, to empower women. Because when we have money in our businesses, we would have money in our pockets and we can put food on the table for our families and be able to pay our children's school fees. So the Women's Development Bank is another of the first that the voices of women is bringing to the women of Ghana. So on the 7th December, I call on all women of Ghana. I call on the youth. I call on the women in universities. I call on the ladies who sell by the wayside. I call on the women who are working in the farms. I call on the professional women who want investments for their side businesses. I call on them to vote for the Women's Development Bank. Under the leadership of His Excellency and His able Professor Nana Jane. Nye titiri kawan nyeme waname kawan bi ye wadomo mene binena wan kanya ke NDC akeka noko hemba nina kanyiye eji Women's Development Bank no chika bile she minyafo shikiye ne kaya ake shika ba wonye nuchu mwami bona fe ni na nuchu moye ayemu nye fe Ghana ye fe nye twa ni omanyaba ni wakadenkpemo akpe wa Women's Development Bank His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Nyirado.
My name is Professor Dr. Grace Ayensu Dankwa. As my sister said, I'm a medical doctor and specifically a surgeon specialist, a professor of surgery. I am also the NDC parliamentary candidate for Isikadoke 10 constituency and the next MP for Isikadoke 10 constituency. Today I want to talk to you about a critical aspect of our society, an aspect of our society that really deserves attention, that is women's health and well-being. As you all know, women are the backbone of our communities, and our health and well-being are essential to building stronger, more resilient families and societies. Despite some progress, women continue to face significant health challenges, including a limited access to quality health care, gender-based violence, mental health stigma, reproductive health disparities, work-life balance struggles, and it is therefore important that we prioritize women's health and well-being. One, by increasing funding for women's health research and services, promoting education awareness on women's health issues, supporting policies that advance women's health and empowerment, encouraging self-care and stress management practices, and fostering inclusive, supportive communities. Promoting women's health awareness requires a multifaceted approach. Over the past 5 years, Ghana has recorded a total of 4,315 maternal deaths. In 2023, infant mortality rate in Ghana was 33.7. That is 33.7 children died per 1,000 live births. Maternal mortality is 263 per 1,000 live births. This means that we have a long way to go. These and other challenges undermine the holistic development of the Ghanaian woman. The NDC well-being and health policies aim to address the unique health challenges faced by women throughout our lives, from reproductive health services to mental health support. The NDC and our flag bearer, as well as the next president of Nkrumah's Ghana, yes, our Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is dedicated to creating a health system that prioritizes the specific needs of Ghanaian women to ensure we lead healthy and fulfilling lives. Central to our health and well-being policy is the promotion of preventative health care, education, and access to essential health services. We are therefore poised to advance the health and well-being of working Ghanaian women. The next NDC government has pledged to construct a state-of-the-art 500-bed specialist children's hospital and fertility center in Accra. More funds. Ghana's growing population of young children requires specialized health services. There is a limitation on medical facilities in that none of them focuses exclusively on pediatric care, and this has resulted in overcrowding and inadequate care in our general hospitals. This specialized children's hospital will provide specialized care, offering services such as neonatal intensive care, pediatric surgery, oncology, cardiology, and other critical health services for children. Infertility affects many couples across Ghana, but limited access to affordable, comprehensive fertility treatment. The establishment of this fertility center as part of this facility will ensure that Ghanaian women and families have access to the most advanced fertility treatment and supportive services, including genetic counseling and reproductive health services. This will be a major step in cementing our family values by providing couples with the much-needed help in conceiving. The Kolebu Teaching Hospital and other major health facilities are overburdened with patients. By constructing this specialized hospital, the pressure on these facilities will be relieved, ensuring that both children and adults receive more focused care. With our current unemployment rate hitting double figures, this new edifice will not only create numerous jobs for health professionals, including pediatricians, nurses, fertilitarists, and administrative staff, but will also serve as a training hub for future medical professionals, further boosting Ghana's healthcare workforce, in essence reducing our doctor to. In conjunction with our 24-hour economy, this facility will provide sustainable jobs for all. In Jumapankwa, women will not suffer, nurses will not suffer, and doctors will not suffer. This 500-bed capacity hospital, dedicated specifically to pediatric care and fertility services, is a complete game changer for Ghanaian women, improving healthcare outcomes through specialized care. The next NDC government will also provide free sanitary pads for female students in basic and secondary schools. Ensuring access to menstrual hygiene products, especially sanitary pads for adolescent girls, especially in rural and inner cities. Menstrual hygiene management remains a critical but often overlooked issue that affects adolescent girls across Ghana, particularly those from underserved communities. Many young girls face significant challenges in accessing sanitary pads due to financial constraints. This lack of access can lead to absenteeism, poor academic performance, and in some cases, school dropouts. In rural and inner city area, the situation is even more severe, with girls missing school up to 5 days of school each month due to inadequate menstrual hygiene supply. The NDC will provide free sanitary pads to all girls in basic and secondary schools. This initiative will be fully funded with a dedicated budget allocation to ensure a continuous supply throughout the school year. In addition to providing sanitary pads, the NDC government will implement comprehensive menstrual health educational programs in schools. This will include training teachers to educate students on proper menstrual hygiene management and breaking the stigma associated with menstruation. Special attention will be given to girls in rural and inner city areas where access to menstrual hygiene products is limited. We will also work with local governments and NGOs to ensure that girls in these communities have consistent access to sanitary pads and health education. To ensure sustainability and boost the local economy, the NDC government will provide the establishment of manufacturing facilities for sanitary pads. This initiative will create jobs, particularly for women, and reduce the cost of sanitary pads in the long run. By providing sanitary pads, absenteeism caused by menstruation, leading to better academics and higher retention rates of girls. Access to sanitary pads will improve girls' menstrual hygiene, reduce the risk of infection, and promote overall well-being. By addressing menstrual management, the NDC is committed to creating a more inclusive, healthy, and empowered future of all Ghanaian women. In a nutshell, period poverty will be a thing of the past. As we all know, women often bear the brunt of inadequate health care, not only for ourselves, but also for our children, our spouses, and our family members, as we are often the caregivers. To relieve this burden on women, the next NDC government will establish the Ghana Medical Care Trust Fund, Mahama Care, to support the cost of care for persons with chronic diseases, such as kidney dialysis, the next Mahama government will establish the Ghana Medical Care Trust Fund, Mahama Care, to support the cost of care for persons with chronic kidney diseases, on dialysis, cancers, and other heart diseases. The next NDC government will introduce the Food for Health initiative. This is to educate the public on the health and nutritional benefits of indigenous Ghanaian foods. The next NDC government will scale up regular screening for cervical, prostate, and breast cancer and encourage self-screening. The next NDC government will prioritize the completion of remaining CHIPS compound under construction and build additional CHIPS compound to ensure quality delivery of health care services to rural and urban poor dwellers. The next NDC government will introduce a free primary health care policy for all Ghanaians who have access to CHIPS compounds, health centers, clinics, and polyclinics. The next NDC government will commence the establishment of market and transport station clinics to provide basic health care for traders, passengers, drivers, and the general public. Minuanimo ASHANTI for Mami Papa Mahama can say, Sena Baimba, obeye market bia, obeye clinic wo. Na clinic no, ebe boye emanu. Na Ose se wo yoba na wo ton ade wo dwam anase wo kodi dwa obema wo clinic a wo du dwam na wo yemu ye wo ya ye bema wo duro free. Ose market bia e wo KUMASI ha ti se na market na minua be mampobo ye na na mwapomu dinsem no wa hyemu kina. The next NDC government will introduce their Oniado on NPP mobile medical and dental services. The next NDC government will be the government of the people, for the people, and especially the women of our beloved Ghana. I will end by reminding all of us of some key dates pertaining to women's health. International Women's Day is on March 8th. Women's Health Week is May 10th to 16th. World Menstrual Hygiene Day is on May 28th. Breast Cancer Awareness Month is in October. Cervical Cancer Awareness Month is in January. In conclusion, let us all work together to create a world where women can thrive, free of health disparities and societal barriers, to build the Ghana we want by resetting Ghana for jobs, accountability, and prosperity. Thank you. God bless us all. Minyanuma Santifoya Damwasio. Nyamishra Munina. Na Omaya Pomute. No Maya Kwatinting. Medamwasio.
Our ecosystem is groaning. It's crying for help because we have abused it. We have destroyed all our water bodies. There is no water. I went round and I've seen that the waters have been polluted and we are taking it in indirectly. Where is the water that was used in preparing the kenke you bought, the ayeke you bought? Our research have shown that the vegetables we are consuming even have mercury in them. We are having deformed babies. Who cares? And unfortunately, there is a deaf ear on all that is happening to the present administration. My prayer is that we as women will stand up. Look, if there is no water, it's the woman who suffers. The woman has to make sure that there is water, but there is no water. And the surface water we are seeing is going underground. Don't think that your borehole is clean enough. I would like to take this opportunity to thank President Mahama. Honestly, I appreciate him so much to select a woman to be the vice president for the nation. We are very grateful to you. And I forget to mention that Sister Nana is my mentor. She is the first female vice chancellor in Ghana. I am the second female vice chancellor in Ghana. And it was during President Mahama and Mills' administration. The things we did are enormous, and I cannot count all of them. I will not say much because we are all aware. And if we sit down and do not speak against Galamsey now, there will be nothing. It is in the forest that we collect the medicines we are using. The local people are really suffering, and something must be done. As women, we have to stand up and speak against it. Galamsey, at least, as it is now, is a threat to gender and our children. It appears we have sold this nation and its sovereign wealth for dirty profits. Many of you don't know that Ghana is very rich. It's not gold only. We have all kinds of precious minerals. And if we manage them well, this country will be the richest on the planet. Do you see how shocked we are whenever we read that our forefathers gave gold to the white man? Now, 100 years from now, when we were given our gold for gunpowder, now we are giving our gold for dirty soil, for contaminated soil. We are acquiring ill health. We have people who do not care about the environment. This Galamsey must stop. And our mining communities must work again. They must become the focal points for building sustainable communities. They should be safe for our women. John Mahama and the NDC knows how important that is and are willing to go to the full length to ensure that mining is done in a way that uplifts our communities and preserves our environment
for ourselves and posterity, and not the way we are entering our reserves and destroying them. So, what is the NDC doing now? We must bear in mind that any fight won against Galamsey will be a great victory if we do not remove the bottlenecks of bureaucracy on mining licensing. The reason is simple. The current centralized licensing regime breeds corruption. So, the next John and Jane Opoku Ajimai government will decentralize regulatory and licensing process for artisanal miners, implement a tree for life reforestation policy, and a blue water initiative. Also, John and Jane, their government will ensure that mining operations are not done in unapproved areas such as water bodies and forest reserves, and will make it compulsory for concession holders to rehabilitate areas negatively impacted by their mining activities. We are seeing that in all this, women should play a role. The administration of the NDC incoming will also further wage a war against the use of cocoa farms for Galamsey and reclaim degraded cocoa farmlands. We must stand up against the government for the harm visited on us and our families. John and Jane will lead this fight for us, and we give them our unconditional support. We are very, very grateful, and we pray that God will anoint them for exploits to save our nation, Ghana. I want to thank you all very much for our attention.
Your Excellency, the incoming President of the Republic of Ghana, Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Midinde, Fostilove, Apia, Kenny, Mayor, parliamentary candidate for Obuasi West, and incoming MP for Obuasi West. And I mean, someone may babekano, may kasa afa, and ma omuye efum injuma ehu. Enti ye beka kasa na frafra. Ye ka brofo kakra ne de twi na wo mu za. Today, I want to talk to you about an initiative that is not just a policy. I want to talk to you about empowerment, innovation, and the future of agriculture. Said ya meka ya no, ya ba beka yemfuo mu nsem ehu. And na ya hwe ya Ghana ha se ya. Yemfuo mu nsem atete apansam. Ya papa Nana Dubai, I was so obebua yen no ode aduane ato ye table so. And na dia and na yehu e wo Ghana ha. Yemfuo sem nyina aye basa. Aduane mpo aye bedie kura eho aye den. Ye bre e wo Ghana ha. Emma titiru. Ye huna mane. Sa ade chenso a emma ni nyina hwe yen emma. Say ye dear Gianni, a better table so ama woman a dear. Now so young 4 months some and ye basa. And I ye share agriculture nyama ye did bread ye ever yen pesua so yen kroma. Mite obuase enti me 9 villages and I say nkronkitua esemase. Say ye sha fertilizer crampo ye de ma womo no sebie son sebie nyado aye den ama womo yɛmfo mu nneɛma ɛsɛe akate ateɛ si yɛn kookoo so nneɛma bebree na ɛsɛe wɔ yɛn kurom ketewa mu yet this government is say ɔboa efuomufoɔ yɛbrɛ mɛtoa mensɛm so no then mɛtoa mensɛm so no the agriculture in our nation. Let's dive into the numbers first. Did you know that the women constitute nearly 50% of the agricultural labor in force in Ghana? Did you also know that that is us who produce nearly 70% of the food crops in the country? We are a diverse collective of ever resilient and questioning people that just want to build our homes, educate our children, change our lives, contribute meaningfully in society. And is this too much to ask? Where aya din say ye baby sir? Abusuafo aya din say ye baby sir? It surely isn't. The one most important factor we need in this quest is land. Asase a yɛbɛtumi de adua yɛn nneɛma yɛn numayɛ ɛno kora mpo yɛnya. Thus we have been deprived for the reason other than the fact that we were born women. Despite producing more than half of the food crops in Ghana, we own just 31% of agricultural land. Yɛni bi ketewa bi mpo ɛna yɛde ma yɛn. We continue to be locked out of access to credit and inputs for farming. Yet, when food insecurity strikes, we are expected to make meal out of scarce crops. We were expected to keep our families fully fed. And what we did, the NPP and Bawumia do, they said they implement planting of food and jobs. I am pa. A common day. A common day. Yamre. Ama yansu. Yakwaya kitina yamre. Yet, our agricultural sector continues to suffer. Food insecurity in the north is wiping the measure gains of small-scale farmers, mostly women. In anything, the program has offended limited access to agriculture, credits and inputs, even in aligned the packets of cronies with all gotten wealth stolen from our sweat. The painful truth is that our living standards haven't declined, almost half. That is 40% of women in our rural areas have become multi-dimensionally poor. In the face of this request injustice, the resolve of the Ghanaian woman remains stiller, our spirit and its heart unbroken. And our quest for growth and prosperity is our cause. Our dreams to own land, gain access to agricultural inputs, other important factors of production will never die. For we know deep down in our hearts that it is our sweat, blood, and toil that produce the bulk of the food crops cultivated and consumed in the country. So the voice of Ghanaians must be heard in all corridors of power, that our sweat will not be in vain, so that we can have an ample say in the decision that affects us. I am enthused and I am sure we have accomplished women all the tickets of our great party who understand the plight and struggles and embodies our aspirations. Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman, our incoming Vice President of Republic of Ghana, will be the voice of our struggling women, farmers, and fish folks. With her, John Dramani Mahama, who will be found so that lost years in the years of pain, lack, inequality, which have often chastised our patients in agriculture and more. Dear NDC for say yeba be ye yemfo nyuma ni ye yadi bibia ba beto mopono so na monsa kan niema mu hia a modi be ye mu mfo yemfa niema ni nsie na ye manso ma meton emfa mamo te sadie sesia NPP government eton ade mamono ye NDC for yeba yadi fo mu nyuma ni nyina no yadi bremo wo mopono so ye ton emfa mamo. They have good news for you and for every female farmer or a fish folk across the length and breadth of this once great country. They will launch a Women in Agriculture initiative so that we too can have equal and equitable access to land for farming. With the initiative, John and Jane and the NDC expand access to land, the agricultural zone, and other financial support. Ya Papa John Dramani Mahama say, Oba beso ekuafo nyina asene. Na sika ye hia, eniema ye hia no, ode amaye. Enu ti dia ye ka kire mu nyina ne say, December 7th, ema nyina yenka ye humom, na yensori wakasesie, ni enye jumaden, na yemfa NDC, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and ye mami Jane Nana Opoku Ajamai, yemfa ne mra power, ni aba power, yemfo mu nyuma nyina ebeyeye. God bless you all.
Ricky, and in the team now, show my Jamon Samno, Mamma, Tomadi Samna, Kuswa, Yadan Sanapi, and Emma Montinema, Ebacoso Emrys, and a year to Commodemon, Asna Mood to New because Yama branch for the Toma Party and a Georgino, Yamu Toma Party, and then I Rahim Sterling, images to be, and I will show a television. Now, quite a fun turn. I am Manori, and Mavis Sacudano, as a foreign Bridget Pass and Nano Cacano Bay, and somebody your friend of Michael Tata, I'm on more playing time than Vaneri, and so to me, Sassia Canemansna, no Piasso to me, I comment Emrys, Dibesi, Asna, Piaji, Yabasa game no and Sobesiaco, and non Japa, Yademamo, and what are you to imagine? Come on, now young fan